now tuned into the greatest. Allow me to reintroduce myself.
What's up, everybody, and welcome to another episode of the Supreme Decisions Legal Minute Podcast. And today, it's me, your boy, Supreme Decisions. And today, I want to do something where I actually got to reflect, so to speak, because Arizona has yet to disappoint me. Now, a few weeks back, you remember that on July 4th, 6 officers from, I believe it was Mesa, Arizona, their police department, they were asked to leave a Starbucks. Now, the problem that I had with that was they weren't asked to leave. They made a choice to leave. And it was blown up because they were, quote unquote, the victims. And everybody knows how I hate victims, in the sense of, oh, it's me, everybody's against me, and all that BS, and it's never anybody else's fault. And if you can remember, I think I had told you I had sent out a few messages directed towards the Arizona's police commissioner, who had tweeted that how disrespectful it was for Starbucks to ask, when in fact Starbucks manager offered them an alternative. Could you move, which anybody could have done, or leave because you are making customers uncomfortable? Now, he went along with the exact same mindset as the police chief in Phoenix, because she's been asked since her tenure the increase in police shootings since she became pretty much chief. And her response was, it's the citizens' fault that we're shooting them. It was the 14-year-old's fault that he was outside playing at the park where he should have been at. It was somebody else's fault other than theirs, was the reason that they jumped out on a 4-year-old for stealing a Barbie doll and told her parents that they would put a bullet in their fucking head. And again, I'm not paraphrasing. It's the citizens' fault that these people are trained to do that. It's the people's fault, according to the police chief in Arizona, according to the commissioner in Arizona. Now, the reason why I bring that up is because, not sure if you know about him or even watch him, but he's actually a fellow Atlantean. Is that? I don't even know if that's even the word, but he's from Atlanta, and he's a guy that I kind of, I guess you could say I'm looking up towards his methods, in a sense, because he's figured out not only how to do something, but how to be successful at it. And he's also not really what I would consider a great marketer, because of a lot of the phrases that he uses. His name is Tommy Sotomayor. I occasionally watch his videos because I understand some of the things that he speaks about when he talks about, oh, I hate this or I hate that. But he uses words that kind of bring in not the type of person, but the behavior of people in certain situations. And on this day, I just happened to be watching the show, kind of flipping through YouTube a little bit, just kind of channel surfing, seeing some things. And his video pops up. And in the video, it's showing a young man with his hands up. And these 2 Glendale, Arizona police officers tased him with his hands up, with him complying. And then I'm like, oh my God. Then come to find out, this is actually not a man. This is a 15-year-old child. These 2 grown men stopped a 15-year-old child on the street with his hands up, and they decided to tase him, although there was no reason to. Now, I'm going to go deeper into this story because, again, this is something that I bring to people's attention because, again, this is not about law. Nothing that they're doing is about law. You don't tase somebody with their hands up because it's law. You do that because you are a horrible human being, and it's excused behavior. It's one of those things where you're trained to do it. There's one of those things where there are no repercussions if you do it, and you know it's wrong for the most part. And here's where a lot of us have that conflict, because I often have these, I often have these stupid ass conversations in my comment sections on a lot of my videos because people are what I call police apologists. I had a young man that he's pretty much a troll because he has no information on his page, and he talked about how everything I was doing was wrong and it's a lie. So I told him, I said, hey, well, go ahead and post what's correct. And then he came up with an excuse. Oh, well, I agree with part of it, but, these police officers, if people do what you say do, that these people are going to lose their jobs. They're going to get in trouble. They're going to be reprimanded. And my thing is, that's the actual point. Because if somebody at McDonald's can't be messing up on fries 1, 2, and 3, and 4 times and keep their job, why should someone making 6 figures do the exact same thing and not lose their job? And when you're talking about police officers, we're told these are the good guys. We should respect them. We should do this. We should do that. I get it. The problem is most people have an issue with not police officers. We have problems with bad policing. And then we're talking about these quote-unquote bad officers, which we know are a small number. But what makes it worse is the fact that you'll take these bad officers, you don't correct their behavior, and these good officers are now getting hurt because of that. Why? Because they're overlooking and not correcting that behavior, which makes them bad officers. Now, I've actually got a young lady that, I'm going to get back on subject, that works here in El Paso. She works with the El Paso Police Department. And I actually got a chance to watch a couple of these, I guess you would say, episodes of Live PD. And they were working here in El Paso. And one of the guys on here, I found out he's still working. And in the video, I'm going to try to find this video again, because it seems like whenever I try to find certain videos, they just all of a sudden just disappear. But I'm going to try to find this video because this officer, in every interaction that I watched him be in, at no time did he raise his voice. At no time did he grab his weapon. At no time did he become disrespectful. At no time did he go outside the vices of law as a proper policing. Now, I actually watched a video where at one point there was an officer that was with him that was being aggressive, that was doing things that weren't crossing the line but very close. But the thing that actually caught my attention about this one officer, because again, I'm going to do a video about this young man because he is the picture for me of what policing should be. He didn't do it out in the open. He took the young man to the side and just told him, hey man, calm down. That's not necessary. No big deal. But you don't escalate that. There's no need to. That is the problem, because more officers are not correcting bad behavior. Now, not that the officer had done anything at that point, but it was the fact that the officer had gotten upset. It was the fact that the officer had taken a situation that should not have been a situation and made it something else that it should not have been or could not have been. And the whole thing is, when I talk about doing this, it's not to get rid of the good officers, because if they're a good officer, they won't even be in the middle of this. It's to get rid of the ones that are not doing things that benefit that of the public, which they made a oath to do, which they swore to God to do, which they are trained to do. Now, if they are trained otherwise, those that are above them that are training them to behave in a manner that is not beneficial for the public, that is not dealing with law, those are the ones that need to be getting rid of. But that also brings me back to this point, because you have Arizona that is leading the nation. Arizona leading the nation in police shootings. I'm going to say that one more time, because Arizona, of all places, is leading the nation in police shootings. Now, I don't even see how that's possible. I don't even understand how that's possible. I don't even get it. And their excuse is it's the citizens' fault. Even though they don't have guns, even though we're killing them, they should feel comfortable around us. And it's their fault. Not our training is fucked up. Not what we're doing is questionable, but it's 100% somebody else's fault. And what happens is, I also talk about how you have these police officers, and they're supposed to be doing the right thing, and they never turn over videotape. 76% of all videotape that the public sees, even video that goes to court, doesn't come from police officers. That is actually amazing to me. But it also is funny to me, because I'm going to do a series, and I'm going to have a lot of videos that are going to be copyright strike. I already know that. And it's because I'm going to do videos, and I'm going to use the episodes from Live PD, because it's amazing that these guys are actually on TV, allowing the cameras to follow them, and they're still not following law. They still don't understand the concepts. But that also made me just think about something, because they have an issue whenever there's a pedestrian filming. But even in the instance of Live PD, there was a cameraman that was shot by police, and police was like, it's the cameraman's fault. But at no time did they actually accept blame for it. They actually blamed the suspect for them shooting the cameraman. The police shot the cameraman. It wasn't the cameraman walked into a gunfight. The police shot the cameraman. And then they said it was somebody else's fault. But when you're looking at things like this, it's amazing to me, because at the end of the day, what we have is a failure to communicate. Because we have so many police officers that are okaying the behavior of poor police officers. We have so many police officers okaying poor training. We have supervisors okaying poor behavior. And here's a reflection of that. Because you look at all the shootings that have happened in Arizona last year, the year before, and up to now, no officers have been reprimanded. You look at a young man that actually murdered Daniel Shavers. He had failed the police exam twice. He was found to be mentally incapable of being a police officer. You know, of all the things. You know, like what's the criteria for that? But still yet, he ended up becoming a police officer in Arizona, giving instructions to which no one could comply unless they were a contortionist. And then he wasn't fired, he quit. He still gets a retirement from the police department. He had multiple disciplinary actions against him. But had he not been sued, had he not gotten the criminal charges, Had he not had all the other extra stuff, the Arizona Police Department was not going to fire him. They were not going to get rid of him, even though he showed that he was not capable of performing the job properly. Even though he tested not being able to perform the job properly, he was not going to get fired. And that brings me to, these two officers tased a young man with his hands up. And this goes back to all the police apologists that tell me all you had to do was comply and won't nothing happen. Well, I guess this young white man, James Scott Hurst, he was being aggressive. This 15-year-old child was being aggressive with his hands up and walking away. He was backing up because he saw the police officer raise the taser. I'm going to say that one more time. He wasn't being aggressive. He was in full retreat with his hands up, complying to officers' commands. But I'm also I'm going to give you one because he actually did commit a crime. He had stole something. But here's my problem with that. I'm looking at Officer Jeffrey Alloway and Sergeant Aaron Aldridge. I'm going to say that one more time. Officer Jeffrey Alloway and Sergeant Aaron Aldridge. Both of these men are well over 200 pounds. Both of these men are grown as hell. Both of these men were near the scene. They were first on the scene. And James Scott Hurst, all 15 years old of him, all 110 pounds of him, all hands in the air, non-aggressive posture, was tased by these police officers. Now, here's the funny part about this. Because when I tell people about getting police procedures, getting their policies, a lot of times you can get in front of the police station. And you can just tell them, hey, I just want to make sure I'm complying with everything you guys need me to do, and I don't want any surprises. So that way it makes it easier for both me and you. Because the problem is, most of these bastards are being trained as cowards. Because I'm not sure if many of you remember, but a few weeks back, I spoke about a young man that I met in Columbia, Richland County. And at the end of his live PD video, he actually spoke about everybody he encounters is a suspect. Everybody that's a suspect is trying to hurt him. Everybody that is trying to hurt him has a gun. And everybody is treated as such until they prove otherwise. Now, the problem with that is that's not law. That's training. He's trained to be afraid of everyone. And when you get to that point, if there are any police officers listening, take the uniform off. Because the uniform isn't made for cowards. The decision to protect others isn't for the weak. The decision isn't set forth by those that have not been chosen. Everybody can't go to war. Everybody can't be a soldier. Everybody can't be on the front line. And the problem is, a lot of these bastards just want to be on the front line because they want to make news. They want attention. They think they don't get enough respect somewhere, so they think putting on the uniform gets some respect. But then you know that being a police officer is dangerous because it's been dangerous for the last 200 years, but now you want sympathy because you made a decision to choose a job that's dangerous and nobody respects you still. And you allow this to go on, but then you look at Sergeant Aaron Aldridge allowing Jeffrey Alloway, teaching Jeffrey Alloway, praising Jeffrey Alloway for his actions, when the purpose of tasing is to subdue, stop aggressive or active resistance. This display violated Glendale police policy. Both of them are still working. Neither of them were reprimanded. I'm going to say that one more time. Sergeant Aaron Aldridge, Officer Jeffrey Alloway tased a 15-year-old boy with his hands in the air, complying to orders, just as Daniel Shavers was murdered in a hotel, complying with orders, with his hands in the air, sitting in some type of Indian-style position with his knees behind his neck and all other kind of ridiculous commands that he could not comply with. They tased him. And the purpose of tasing is to subdue, to stop active aggression. This young man had his hands in the air and was in a non-aggressive posture. At no point was he resisting. Their actions violated Glendale police policy. Neither Officer Jeffrey Alloway nor Sergeant Aaron Aldridge was reprimanded for violating police policy. And here's the problem with that. James Scott Hurst just wanted the situation over with. Because although he committed the crime, the DA didn't prosecute him. Why? Because Sergeant Aaron Aldridge, Officer Jeffrey Alloway violated Glendale police policy. And pushing those types of efforts gets you sued, which they should have been. And still could have been, because it was a 2017 incident. So the incident was actually, I believe it was a June 2017 incident. And here's a crazier one. There was a video of this entire situation. Didn't come from the police. It came to the news station, ABC 15. And it came there anonymously. Because what absolutely amazes me, because every time I have a police officer apologist send me a comment talking about how police officers are good and honorable people, how police officers are here to protect us, they're doing good, and they're doing this and they're doing that. These are the exact same people that will talk about how police officers will hurt them. The same people that will tell me police officers, if I don't stop doing this, will hurt me. Police officers, these good people, they're going to hurt me for teaching people law, teaching people how to defend themselves. So I guess that means they're not good people if they're going to hurt the people they're supposed to be protecting. So that means they're not protecting people. They're actually holding them hostage. Or actually, in this case, holding them for ransom, because 90% of what they do has nothing to do with law. It has to do with revenue generation. So I guess that would make it a hostage situation. Because they're kidnapping folks, saying you can't get released unless you give me some money. So I guess that would be a hostage situation. So I might need to call Liam Neeson, to get taken, because he's got a special set of skills. I guess you can call me Liam Neeson, because I got a special set of skills. But the problem is, the video was leaked online by an anonymous source that had access to mall security, not the police. It came there anonymously because the police wasn't talking about it. Wasn't nothing done. But this person also didn't want to get involved. Why? Because they did not want police retaliation. And I think there was actually another video I did that spoke about police retaliating. These good people that we're supposed to respect, these good people that work for our benefit, they're retaliating on people for saying they're doing something wrong. Okay, yeah, because that's how good people respond to things. They retaliate. Because retaliatory instances are always good in nature. People that retaliate generally kill, because that's what good people do. They hurt because that's what good people do. But why is that? You have these cloud-based systems with videos because police don't want to be on video, because what they're doing is good, because what they're doing is right, because what they're doing is lawful, but they don't want nobody to see it. But they're the good guys. And I hate saying things like that. I really do. Please don't get me wrong, because like I said, I have a ton of friends that are police officers. I have relatives that are police officers. And even the young man here in El Paso that I want to do a video about, that I'm going to do a video about, he is a good person. He tries to do policing the right way. The problem is, it's not enough of them. Because even if I know 30, most of them are in departments where there are at least 400 or 500 police officers. So let's say they're definitely in the minority and not the majority. Because they're doing it the right way. Because they're not advancing because they're doing it the right way. They're not getting promoted because they're doing it the right way. They're not getting citizen complaints against them because they're doing it the right way. They're not working just for revenue generations. They're doing it the right way. They're not working on quotas because they're doing it the right way. But they're also not benefiting the police, so they get to stay where they're at. They get to stay in the cover of danger. They get to stay being first on the scene. They get to stay being in these positions where they are the most vulnerable. Which is also why I did the video about supervisors being held accountable, because when you have a police chief that does not reprimand their people, that police chief is liable. I'm going to say that one more time. When you have a police chief that does not represent or reprimand one of their employees or their subordinates, they're condoning their behavior that's incorrect, that's detrimental. That becomes a liability not only for the police, but for the people. The supervisor is liable. The police chief is liable. And I've gone over a couple of videos that show you how, show you why. I'm going to go deeper into that as well. Because this isn't going to be one of those where I'm going to put together something and sell you a system. No, I'm going to just keep putting up videos. I'm going to keep showing you. I'm going to keep giving you cases. And as Chris Brown said, I'm going to keep coming. Because at the end of the day, the learning process, there is no curve. I wasn't given a curve whenever I started this. I wasn't given a curve whenever I was charged with RICO. I wasn't given a curve whenever this was brought to me. But it was one of those things where I was literally thrown to the fire. They released me to the wolves. And at the end of the day, I put on a couple of chinchillas and I walked out there because at the end of the day, I'm that dude right now. I'm one of those people that's offering you light. And at the end of the day, when it's all said and done, I'm giving you everything that was given to me. I'm offering you light in the darkness. Because what's going on is dark. I spoke about whenever I was going through the trial, I had to become a monster. I often speak about the nature of the beast never changing. But I understood that because the thing was I had practice prior to. I had means of sharpening my claws prior to. But one of the things that was easily the most difficult, it wasn't learning this. It wasn't applying this. It was not becoming a monster like them. It was not becoming a beast. Because it's easy to go out and hurt someone. That's easy. I can do that easy, without thinking, without question, without any regard, without any remorse. But that's not beneficial for anybody. It's not beneficial for me. It's not beneficial for anybody that I come across. It's not beneficial for even those that quote unquote cross me. Because at the end of the day, it's about one thing. It's about being able to live as you are meant to live. And I'm going to get back on subject. Because now when you're thinking about this, the whole thing with ABC 15, them getting this anonymous video, because these good people are more likely to hurt somebody that tells on them, because they got a code of silence like gang members. They wear flags like gang members. Snitches get stitches like gang members. You're either for them or you're against them. Because one of the things that I actually love is the fact that when you're looking at something and you're looking at them through human eyes, blind loyalty isn't loyalty. You're able to call someone on the wrong that they're doing. Because I know for a fact, if I went out here and did something absolutely stupid, all my boys that are around me, they're going to be like, look, that was absolutely stupid. Which is why whenever somebody says, oh, what you're putting up is wrong. Okay, cool, put up the right stuff. Because that's what we're here for. I'm not too old to learn. And if I made a mistake, please show me. Hell, so that way we can get it right. Because that's what the purpose of this is. I'm not here to just give you something. Because if that was the case, I could have done this like every other clown that has a mic in front of them and a video camera or a phone. I could do that. That's not what I'm here for. I'm here to give you substance. I'm here to last more than a couple weeks. I'm here to last more than a couple videos. I'm here to offer you substance. Now, I hear people talk about, oh, I'm a snack. Oh, look at me, I'm a snack. No, I'm a whole meal. Because a snack give you diabetes, give you all kind of other extra problems. I'm not trying to give you problems. I'm a whole meal because a whole meal keep your ass at the house. A whole meal keep you full. A whole meal keeps you nourished. A whole meal keep you living long. Snacks kill you. A snack will absolutely kill you. And see, and the thing is, I give you this meal in small bites. You ain't got to rush with this. Ain't no rush, because understanding your freedom is a lifestyle. I'm going to say that understanding how you maneuver in this is a lifestyle. You ain't got to rush. What you in a hurry for? That's all you got to understand. You ain't got to rush. Ain't no rushing. We ain't in no hurry. Because all of this is something that allows you to be better than what you were yesterday. Every time I talk to you, every time you listen, every time you watch, you're offered something greater. That's what I'm here for. Because when you're looking at a lot of these things and you have closed eyes, the closed eyes become dangerous. Because when you close your eyes to something, everything else seems different. You view the world differently. I'm allowing you to open your eyes. Because just like when I open my eyes, you can open yours. When my light shines, you can shine yours. Those are the things that I'm trying to give here. That's one of the things that ABC 15 did when they did their investigation on the Glendale Police Department. Because you're looking at an incident that happened July 27th, 2017. Glendale police tased a man 11 times. And while this man was in handcuffs, on video, Officer Matt Schneider kicked the handcuffed man twice in the testicle area. This good cop, this good police officer, this respectable man tased a man that was not resisting 11 times. Kicked this man while he was in handcuffs in the genital areas twice because he's a respectable person. As unfathomable as that is, Matt wasn't fired. Matt wasn't reprimanded. Because all these good cops that are around Matt didn't correct his behavior. didn't tell Matt that was wrong. His supervisors didn't tell Matt that you can't do that. Supervisors let all that go because, Matt's a good guy. He should be respected, even though his actions say otherwise. Because there's nothing respectful about a man that's not resisting being tased 11 times. There's nothing respectable about kicking anyone in their Johnson twice when they're handcuffs. But here's the crazy part. It's another situation where DEA dropped all charges. Why? Because you cannot prosecute someone when you have this type of idiot. And yes, I'm not going to retract that at any means. When you have this type of idiot that is a detriment to the force, that is a detriment to society, working for you. He is a liability to police. Because not only is he a liability to these good police officers that's not correcting his behavior, he is a liability to everyone else wearing that uniform. And then these are the same people that want sympathy for how dangerous the job is. But they're allowing motherfuckers like this to work with them. They're allowing motherfuckers like this to work beside them. But we're supposed to respect them. But they're telling his, what you just did was okay. Should have tased him 12 times. They chucking it up in the back because to them, they saw nothing wrong. Why? Because being a police officer is dangerous. That's necessary even though he was not resisting. That's necessary even though he was handcuffed. To kick him in his genitals twice, that's okay. So what, he's not resisting? And for my other folks, it's also a white man. Because whenever I tell you it's not about the police being against a certain minority, they are going after the poor. They're going after those that are disenfranchised. They're going after those that they feel will not fight back. They are in the place of a bully. They are in the place of extortionists. They are not designed to solve anything. Because I'm actually going to do a video because, again, I know you guys get sick of hearing me talk about how good El Paso police are. Well, I'm going to do a video with this jackass here in El Paso. Violated every point of law at every aspect of it. And then nothing happened to him. And the problem is when I do this video, I'm going to copy in a couple people here in El Paso that actually can do something about it, because at the end of the day, I guarantee you that wasn't the first time he's done that. I guarantee you that wasn't the first time that behavior was okayed, because the thing that I saw, the most horrific part of what I saw was two other officers joined in to his fuckery. Nobody corrected his behavior. They joined in. And me watching it, you're going to hear what I have to say about it in the video, because it was uncalled for, unnecessary, and then it made everything else dangerous because they still tried to get revenue from this young man even though he had nothing to do with the incident. I'm going to say that one more time. He still attempted to charge this young man with a crime although he had nothing to do with the call. And his buddies joined in and said, yeah, that's okay. But again, that's not here or there, but it's just something, just be on the lookout for. It's coming. And then in a separate incident in Glendale, Arizona, because again, ABC 15 did an investigation into the Glendale, Arizona Police Department. And in a separate incident, now they did not specify the officer's name in this incident, but they spoke about it right after they spoke about Matt Snyder's incident, where a man's short was pulled down and he was tased in the genitals. Now, I'm not gonna get into it deep with you, but it sounds like the Arizona Glendale Police Department has a thing with penises. Like, I'm not sure if it's penis envy or what, but why are you kicking folks in the genitals, not being reprimanded? Why are you tasing folks? Why are you pulling down folks' pants to tase them in the genitals? It's unnecessary. And the problem is these good cops are not being reprimanded. These good cops that want respect are not correcting this behavior. The blue wall is saying this is okay, and that is what people have a problem with. When you're seeing this stupid shit and you're saying, hey, buddy, don't do that again. It's really that simple. Stop, bastard. I'm not trying to get shot for your dumb ass. What's wrong with that? Because that seems to be the only language anybody understands. If you're actually being completely disrespectful to them and with them, that's the only time they understand what they sensitive asses around here. It's understanding, correcting that behavior. Because you would not accept that from a child. Why would you accept that from a grown-ass person? That is the dumbest shit I've ever heard of in my life. Because when you're not correcting that behavior, who's liable for it? You're saying it's okay. You're condoning it. You're supporting it. And that is what people have a problem with. Those actions put others in danger. And the problem is these motherfuckers think it's okay to continue to escalate these dumbass things. They think it's okay that we're supposed to accept their behavior. We're supposed to accept it because they do. Because, again, if I go to a steakhouse and I order a T-bone, you bring me back a New York strip, I am going to have a motherfucking fit. Because that's not what I ordered, nor is that what I'm accepting. I don't care if it's still a steak. I'm not accepting what I didn't order. If you're putting on that uniform, there's a duty that you chose and swore to God that you were going to uphold. If you can't do it, don't put on the goddamn uniform. Because you are an absolutely disgraceful human being. If you got a problem with it, come see me. Because at the end of the day, if you can't do what you said you're going to do, you are a fucking liar. If you can't do the things that you said you would do, you are a fucking liar. I'm going to say that one more time because maybe your feelings need to be hurt. Because at the end of the day, I don't give a shit about them. That was your choice. Because I'm not happy about the McDonald's guy if my fries ain't good. And if they do it 4 times, 3 and 4, God damn it, how many times you got to mess up before it's not okay? Because if you screw up fries, guess what they're going to do? They're going to retrain you on something else. Because you can't cook fries. And if I'm going to hold a dude at McDonald's at a high standard for my fries, I'm going to hold a person making 6 figures at an extremely high standard. And if you can't perform your job the way it's supposed to be done, you and I got to go talk to your parents because I don't deal with anybody's child. I'm not going to complain to a cop about a cop. Just like I'm not going to complain about a child to another child. I'm going to go talk to the parents. You can't do your job properly. I'm not going to talk to your supervisor because he's probably the one that's trained you to act like that. You and I got to go to federal court. We got to go talk to your parents. And at the end of the day, if you can't do that, if you can't perform properly, if you choose not to because you either lazy or ignorant, you shouldn't put on a uniform. If you're too afraid to do your job, don't put on a uniform because you're wasting your time. You're wasting the public's time. You're wasting the taxpayers' time. You're wasting police officers' time. You're wasting your time. Time that you can't get back. Time you can't even give back. You're changing folks' lives that should not be changed. You're impacting folks' well-being that shouldn't be impacted. That is a problem. That is the problem. That is the thing that people are upset with. That is what people are tired of. Because even with the actions that violated clearly Glendale Police Department policy, Sergeant Aaron Aldridge was not fired, was not reprimanded. He still has his job. Officer Jeffrey Alloway was not fired, wasn't reprimanded. He still has his job. Although, like I said, their actions clearly violated department policy, they still have a job. You look at Matt Schneider. Matt Schneider was not prosecuted. Matt Schneider was not disciplined. But even Matt's actions violated department policy. Yet, they didn't fire him. He quit. And the only reason he's unemployed is because Matt Schneider is being sued for everything he has in federal court. I'm going to say that one more time. Matt Schneider is being sued in federal court for everything he has. The problem is, you see police officers across the country losing their jobs. You had a young man in Philadelphia that lost his job for shooting an unarmed person. 15 minutes of getting his new job as a police officer, he shoots another unarmed person in the back. Both incidents clearly violated department policy, but still yet, he's able to continue working. You look at the other young man that was accused, or actually acquitted, but also sued for killing a 14-year-old young man in Chicago. It wasn't 2 months before he had another job as a police officer in another state. And my question is, if you're not training these people to behave in the way they are, if you're not condoning the actions of these people, which you stand up at your press conferences and holler about, if this is not what you're telling these people to, if you're saying this behavior is not okay, why do you keep hiring? You have these police officers that are in Arizona. I've actually spoke about 3 or 4 of them. And they're not fired. They've got multiple, I'm going to say that one more time, multiple disciplinary actions against them. They're still working. They've got multiple disciplinary actions against them, and they're getting promoted. When they're showing their detriment to society, they're showing their detriment to their fellow police officers, they're showing their liability at every end of their work. But these are the people that are being involved in multiple shootings, that are killing multiple people, that are getting off on multiple actions. And then you want to get upset with me because I condone the young woman that said, I'm not comfortable around these police officers. I'm not comfortable around the police officers that are leading the nation in killing someone. I am not comfortable around the police officers that say it is my fault that I'm getting shot. I'm not comfortable around these people that are okay with my harm. I'm not comfortable around these people that go out of their way to harm me. And then we look at these exact same police officers, and they're filing these reports. They're signing them under penalty of perjury. They're placing them into court documents, and they're representing them as the truth. They're saying what they're doing is okay. The supervisors are not reprimanding them. They're putting the public in areas of danger. They're doing this with no repercussion. They're doing this with basically nothing against him. And we're supposed to respect that. Because if you're doing what's right, why are you lying? If they're doing what's supposed to be, why are you covering it up? Why aren't you turning over evidence? Why is the DA getting rid of cases because of your actions? If you're doing what's lawful. Now, I'm getting ready to close it up for the day. But I want you to think about what I'm saying and why I'm saying it. Am I bashing Arizona police? No, I'm bashing the ones that are doing this wrong shit. Because when you have over 50% of your officers involved in pedestrian shootings, and then you have, of that 50% group, 75% of them being involved in multiple shootings, are you training your officers just to pull their gun every time they stop somebody? Every time you encounter somebody? And how is that benefiting the public? Because I told a young man one day, because I understand being a police officer is stressful. And I also understand that more police officers are eating their gun. And unfortunately, when you're looking at the fact that they're behaving as children and no one's correcting that child's behavior, and you're looking at the facts that you have a stressful job to which 90% of the people that you encounter are knuckleheads. But I think they forget about the fact that nobody sees a police officer at a good time. It's never one of those, oh man, I am so happy to see you. But they're also forgetting about that 10%. Because I always tell people, regardless of what's going on, every conversation I'm in, there's at least one intelligent person. They can pretend to be the other one. Because you have to remember that 10%, that understands what they're supposed to be doing and why they're supposed to be doing it. They still exist. You still have to deal with them. You still have to be professional. And if you're not answering every call as a professional because you're worrying about your life, don't put on a uniform. If you're not going to correct that behavior when you see it being done, you need to take off the uniform as well. Because when you're allowing and condoning and suggesting what they're doing is okay, you're becoming a bad officer. So when it takes these bad officers, just because you're not performing their duties, you're okaying the duties that they're doing. You're telling them that that is the way you're supposed to police. It is about not life. It's about you. That's why police officer safety is not law. It's a feeling. Because even the Supreme Court don't give a shit about cowards. Because you being scared, you needing a favor, is not law. And that 10% that you encounter, and you're still not understanding that what I have to do, what I'm going to do, how I'm going to do it, is not going to dictate, or should not dictate, how you perform your job, what you do in your job, or what your job consists of. Because at the end of the day, your job is to preserve life. Your job is to benefit the public. Your job is to not become Tom Cruise and be in Minority Report with the precogs, but to actually go out and deal with things as they happen, not prior to. Because as even Tony said, yeah, we're the Avengers, not the Prevengers. You can't do anything until. You have no authority until. Because at the end of the day, I use the biggest words in law because they're the most often used is if and or. But a couple of more have been brought to my attention. Shall, then. 2 more. Because shall and then appear a lot. Not often in the exact same context, but they appear a lot. Because they too are transition words. Because that means something else has to take effect. Or something has to be in effect in order for you to have authority. Just putting on a uniform doesn't make what you say a command. You are still in a servant's place until. Because you have to have permission from me by consenting with the conversation. Just because you say something doesn't mean I have to follow it. Why? Because you can't give me instructions. Because that's a show of authority style, which is a Fourth Amendment violation. Why? Because if you're giving me instructions to do something, you're taking away free will. That means you're putting yourself in the place of God. God gave me free will. You can't take free will away from me unless I do something. Just like this young man cannot be tased unless he does something. And just because someone's complying doesn't mean your instructions are lawful. You look at the fact that you have so many people being shot, so many uncomfortable with you. There was a news article about the Arizona police as a state kills somebody every 5 days. Not just have a shootout with them, but kill somebody every 5 days. The Arizona police are the biggest gangs in Arizona because they're killing somebody every 5 days. So there's not a week that go by. 10 days you got 2 people. 15 days you got 3 people. That's not good. The question should be, why is that happening? Because somebody asked me one day about doing a ride-along. And I said, I have no issue with doing a ride-along. See how being a police is. That's great. I could do that. Now, I asked them, after I do this ride-along, what law is going to change? What Supreme Court decision is going to change? And they were like, none, that's stupid. I said, exactly. I said, is being a police officer going to be less dangerous because I took this ride along? They was like, no, but you get to see that as dangerous. Okay, I knew that was the case prior to me even thinking about a ride along, or even you making this suggestion. Why? Because it's been dangerous for at least 200 years. Let's call it that. Nobody's like, oh, police officer is easy. No, that's why they get paid so goddamn much. And at the end of the day, when you're looking at the fact that, yes, there are certain things that are there that can be different. When you're looking at the fact that there are certain aspects of it that can be changed. When I look at it from a business perspective. Because at the end of the day, I look at it as, what would I do if I was going to take over a police department? The first thing I would do is, as any good CEO, I get rid of all the cancer that's there, which will mean I would get rid of everyone. I would clean house. Because in order to change the culture that's there, you have to get rid of everything that's there. Because anybody that knows about cancer and surgery and all that good stuff, you can't get rid of part of the cancer. You got to get rid of all of it. All of it has to go. Can't leave a piece of it. And just like my favorite line in Two Guns, the Navy sergeant or Navy general spoke about, you can't keep the pinky when the hand has gangrene for sentimental reasons. You have to cut it all off. everything must go. It's a fire sale. And then you have to bring in everybody and create the culture you need. You can look at basketball franchises. You can look at football franchises. You can look at teams such as, I'll actually give you the LA Clippers. They were absolutely the worst team in basketball for years. So what they do? They got rid of every goddamn body. Head coach, the GM, the owner. They got rid of everybody. But they had to change the culture prior to getting rid of everybody. There had to be a conscious effort or a conscious sit down, a conscious thought of the culture needs to change. And then whenever you had some guys in there that wasn't quite where they wanted to, they had to tweak the culture. Like, okay, we get rid of that and that. Okay, because now you can pinpoint exactly what the cancer is because you know what's supposed to be there and what's not. That's what has to happen in majority of these police departments. You have to clean house from the top down. But at the end of the day, if you are looking at the fact that these clowns are going through and allowing these types of behavior, and the only way they're being held accountable is if you're taking them to federal court, and I'm teaching you how to take them to federal court, what instances allows for them to be taken to federal court, guess what happens when you start taking them to federal court? You start getting rid of this cancer. You start cutting out bit by bit. You're doing surgery. You're part of the surgical team. That's what needs to happen. We all need to take responsibility and hold all of these bastards accountable. Because if you're doing the right thing, my complaint means nothing. But if you're doing the wrong thing, when I'm complaining to your parents, guess what you got to do? You got to come up with some answers. So that's all I got for today. I love you guys. I appreciate my donors. I appreciate your time today. I appreciate rainbows and hot dogs and ice cream and all that good stuff. But most of all, I appreciate you listening. I'm still trying to give you guys what you want. I really still don't like no music. But at the end of the day, it's not about me. It's about making sure you have an understanding of what it is that I'm trying to do. And making sure that you understand that there are things that are available to you that goes beyond what you're being taught, what's been programmed into us from little children. Because what this is being illustrated as is people want you to believe that the things I'm doing are not correct. But nobody's posting anything. Nobody's showing anything to the contrary. And the reason being is because you cannot hide the truth because it's too big. And whether it's me or somebody else that, picks up the mantle or starts running with this, it's understanding that I'm giving you places to not only go look, but to dig deeper into. I'm offering you insight to what it is to be better, to be greater, to be in a position of power. Because not often are we able to set up positions of power. Not often are we able to even look at or even understand what the power is that we have. But when you're starting to take layer after layer after layer after layer after layer off, it becomes something else. It becomes something different. It becomes something more significant and special. That's what I'm offering to you. Now, continue donating. I appreciate you guys. It's all going back to the channel. Like I said, we've got better videos. We've got better sound quality. We're getting better software. We're getting better. Hell, we're getting better hardware. We're working on a place now that I can do videos on a daily from a controlled area. So therefore, we'll have a little bit more steadiness in what's going on. But also the fact that we're putting together something that's going to live beyond me, that's going to go beyond not only being
in this space, but to being in a teaching or a teachable arena. Because within the next 3 to 4 months, we're going to be building something that grows into something else. It's going to go from not only schooling, but it's going to go to apparel. It's going to go through educational pieces. It's going to go through city lectures. I'm going to be putting together a countrywide tour. I'm going to do things that allow me to be face-to-face with you guys, that allows me to be in a form of question and answers, that allows me to be more hands-on with you guys at. And that's done through your donation, through Apple Pay, Venmo, Cash App, Google Wallet. It's all appreciated, and it's all going towards this channel. It's going towards the education. It's going towards material. It's going towards where it's supposed to be at. Because the purpose of it is not only to enrich my life, but it's also to enrich the lives of everyone I touch. So, welcome again to the Supreme Decisions Legal Minute podcast. I love you guys, and I'll see you soon.
This shit ain't colossal.